All right, so hey, we're gonna review catch culture fishing today. And before we get started, I'm gonna do this in two parts. So the first part, I'm gonna share some feedback from you as a potential customer. Just, look at your site, what's going through my mind, no BS. And the second part, my colleague Anna Marie is gonna share some specific, actionable design and user experience feedback with you. So let's dive in. Um, what I love about this site, both through the name and the landing page, it's just like immediately telling me what you do. You sell clothes for people that like, going fishing, which is great. Like it's super clear what you do. You're instantly hitting me with, you know, really cool looking sweatshirt, t-shirt. You've got this like logo that's really interesting. So yeah, it's super clear. It's just like simple to understand. Um, Going down, I see you basically have three categories: hoodies, t-shirts, and hats and caps. Where the catch culture, you're explaining a little bit about your brand. That's great. I kind of like this tagline. It's this little pun, but like tight lines and stylish adventures. And maybe you want to surface that a little bit further up. Maybe put it beneath your logo or something because it's pretty good. Um, and yeah, I would say the product piece, and I'll dig into some of the products here in a second, but like, it's well organized, it's very clear, it's simple, it's clean. I'd say the weak part is the why catch culture fishing. I think this is an opportunity you have to really talk to your audience. And, like not everybody is into fly fishing, like not everybody's in, and this is a lifestyle, right? And I think this is an opportunity you have to actually talk a little bit about the identity and, what makes you special and like get people to relate to that instead of secure payment, fast shipping, easy returns. Like that feels like super generic. So I think if I were you, I would look to replace that, maybe um, add some pictures, of like good pictures you've taken or, pictures you can find of people actually doing the activity that your entire brand is around so that people can relate to that and share a little bit about your story. Um, I do have a question about returns. How does one make a return? I was hoping to click into that and get some details. So maybe you want to address that in a separate section called frequently asked questions, but like just give people the comfort that, they can return something within 30 days. So that's one of these hidden objections that a lot of people have. And I see that there's a customer support email. Um, it is at Gmail, so might want to just make that a little bit more professional. Um, and then I see that there's like this about us that's like buried, and there's an FAQs, but it's like buried all the way in the footer. So let's go to the about us, and then you have a story. What sets you apart? Join the family. And then there you are, Julian. It's like this tiny picture of you that's like hidden all the way at the bottom. And I don't know if you're wearing your own product in that picture, but you might want to update that. Maybe you are, I can't really tell, but maybe update this with a picture of you actually wearing your own product. So that I think that would be something. Um, but yeah, no, overall, I think it's sleek. The organization is good. I see you have socials linked down below, which is fantastic. Let's look at your TikTok. Oh, the link doesn't work actually. How about Facebook? That does work. Um, and it's fairly active, which is great. So great. Yeah, no, so overall, I would just look at ways in which you can differentiate your brand from an organization perspective and like an ease of use. I would give this like a 9 out of 10, but it does feel a little bit generic. And I think that is where I would focus if I were you. Try and get your story out there, try and talk more about the culture, the experience, the reason that people go fishing, and get them to relate to that and let your own story shine through more. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to my colleague Anna Marie, who's going to share some design and product feedback with you.
Hi there, I'm Anna Marie. So let's take a quick look at the Catch Culture site from a design perspective. So as Rush mentioned, right, I really love this unique brand, this very memorable logo. And then because your logo has so much color and personality, I love that the rest of your site is really simple and you let, right, these beautiful product visuals really shine through. So that's awesome. And overall, the layout's really clear. I can quickly scroll down and see, right, some of your bigger categories. There's a clear call to action right away, right? I can click into these in shop, or then I can see, right, some more specific stuff, specific t-shirts, stickers, things like that. So overall, really good layout. Couple minor things to potentially tweak. So right off the bat, right, I noticed that in the top, you don't have your menu immediately visible. So I have to click into the left navigation to open up this hamburger menu, which is beautifully designed. One thing to maybe test, I'd be curious to see if you were to showcase some of those items in the navigation, if that would increase clicks, right? I know people can scroll through and click into those pages through here, but it is a little odd that I have to do this double click even on larger screens, right? On a smaller, narrower screen, it makes sense to have the hamburger menu, but I wonder if on a bigger screen, it might make sense to show them here. Again, right, I know you have this really minimal brand, so maybe you're seeing enough click through even without having stuff in the top navigation, but just something to maybe test out and think about. And then the other thing in terms of mobile responsiveness, overall, the site works great on smaller screens. There were just two minor things I noticed. So first of all, looking at this navigation, there's a tiny little jump that happens at some smaller breakpoints. So right there, you can see a little jump. It looks like maybe there's a little padding difference. So something you might want to fix. And then the other thing, right, I like that the top banner starts rotating on smaller screens. But what I noticed is that if I then expand my screen, it disappears. And so it seems that for some reason, right, it disappears there. If I refresh, it's back, but for some reason it disappears after collapsing, expanding the width. So something to maybe look into. And then the only couple other things on this page. So as far as text goes, I love that you have this explanation about your brand and a little context. When there's more than a couple lines of text, I usually recommend left aligning it. So, right, it's just easier to read for people. So something to think about. And then when you scroll down, I really like that you have, right, this kind of block of color for why catch culture and then a separate block for the footer. I would maybe recommend thinking about the colors. So first of all, the black feels a little bit intense. I wonder if maybe using this brown might be better just to soften the contrast a little bit. And then on the footer, we kind of had the opposite issue where I think this white text, one, it's really small, and then two, it doesn't contrast off the blue that much. So it's a little hard to read. So I wonder if in that case, instead if we refresh, right, this blue from the banner could maybe be a better blue to use in the footer as well. So just a couple minor things that might be worth it to tweak. And then otherwise, if we click into your products, the product pages are beautiful. I love that you have photos of all the different variations. I love that you have, right, these detailed descriptions of the materials and all of that. So that's working great. The only minor tweak here is if I go through and pick a color, so it looks like for some of them it works. It'll switch to, right, the right photo, but sometimes it doesn't seem to work. So, right, it looks like ocean blue isn't linked. So maybe just going through and making sure that all of that is linked as expected. So that's really the only thing. And then I am kind of missing, right, photos of people wearing the clothes here. I know you have some on the homepage, but that could be a fun thing to add for each product. Kind of a couple lifestyle shots might be helpful here. So that's really the main stuff as far as product. The only other page, if we go to the About page, this here, the text is left aligned compared to the home page, which is great, makes it easier to read. But I might recommend making it narrower. So maybe having it be about that width and then having it right, still left aligned, but centered on the page. Because when text goes above 8 to 13 words per line, it feels a lot more tedious to read. So because your story is so interesting, it's really cool. Just making this, a little more legible might be helpful. So those are just a couple thoughts. Overall, the site's looking really clean and beautiful. Hope that was helpful.